Hey guys, today I'm going to tell you a bit about DWVR, a new shooting game that came to PSVR. You're given a variety of weapons, there's different levels that you go through. It takes a lot of inspiration from Doom. That's very, I'm sure you can tell right away that it takes the aesthetic from Doom, it takes the fast-paced gameplay from Doom. You might ask, how can it be fast-paced if it's a VR shooter that uses move controllers? Well, you're going to be teleporting around quite a bit. You're going to be doing it a lot. And consequently, you're gonna probably want to hurl at the end of this game, which I'm not prone to VR sickness. I'm really not. But by the end of my time with this game, which was about an hour, a little over an hour, I felt like I was gonna throw up pretty bad. Now, this game is fun for about 5 minutes, and then it totally just, it honestly becomes boring, which is unfortunate. You have limited weapons. The enemies are very dumb. It's a very, very limited AI that these characters are working on. The level design is actually pretty good. I like the way the levels look, and it's, you know, ripped straight from Doom, but that's fine. They look good. They are way too big. Way too big for the number of enemies that spawn in, and they spawn in way too far apart from each other, so you get these good-looking arenas to fight in, but you're only you're fighting like 2 at a time, maybe, even on the medium setting, because these enemies are not difficult to take out at all. You're always going to have a sword equipped, because every single enemy, save for the bosses, which there are 2 of, are one-hit kills. These weapons are just poorly balanced. The gun weapons have just awful accuracy, which makes any long-ranged attempts at these enemies just pretty fruitless. The sword itself is not just a one-hit kill. Any time they even touch the tip of the sword, they are just thrown out of existence and killed. It is insane, and it is so dumb, because you can just teleport straight headfirst in these enemies with your sword thrust out, and it's a guaranteed kill. There's very little enemy variety. I mean, you're getting just the bare bones of what to expect out of this kind of game. There are a few different levels to choose from. Like I said, these levels are actually kind of well designed. The problem with them comes that you have to unlock the medium and the hard difficulty settings to play those levels on, which, I mean, that's just blatantly stretching the dollar out there at that point. The problem with this comes that once you get a hang of the controls, once you get a hang of the teleporting and the weapons and all that, you do not need to play the easy mode anymore. At least I didn't. I felt like I could have been playing the medium and the hard difficulties pretty easily by the second stage, but it forces you to play the easy difficulty again, so you're just mowing through these enemies, and it takes so long to get through them. It makes the experience that much more boring. Some quality of life things: the guns, for whatever reason, the guns are pointed much further down than they would be if you were pointing them correctly. Here I'm pointing them where they should be, just based on how you hold a gun in real life and how you hold a gun in basically every other PSVR game. This is where it should be, but the guns are pointed at the ground. That's annoying. You have to point them much further up than is comfortable. Time slows down when you're teleporting, which is nice, but it doesn't slow down when you're picking out your weapons from your inventory. So you're just getting blasted by enemies while you're trying to change your gun. It's ridiculous. There's also a target test mode, and there is a drone assault mode. Neither of these are worth playing, so I'm not even really going to mention them. They're even worse than the main game. Thankfully, the game is not very long, so you're not going to get too tired of it, but honestly, I shouldn't say that, because I was tired of it by the second level. One thing you might notice while you're walking around these barren, empty levels hoping for an enemy to attack you is that not only are you bored from the lack of enemies coming at you and the lack of skill needed to dispatch these enemies, there is no music whatsoever anywhere to be found in this game, and that is insane. How can you not have music in a freaking Doom ripoff? I mean, you're halfway there already with the aesthetics and the weapons and everything. Just go all the way. Have some heavy metal, have some hard rock, something, anything. It just makes this game unbearable to walk around. The only sounds that you're going to hear are some very light ambient noises from the arena, and then the occasional screech from a skeleton warrior. At the end of the day, this game just feels unfinished. The walking paths for the enemies feel very, very linear. They cannot deviate that much outside of where they're walking. They'll clip through the environment. They'll jump strangely. They'll spawn on top of you. I mean, this game is not finished. It's just not. It came out of early access on Steam right before it was released on PSVR, and I think it probably should have stayed in early access a bit longer. It's really ridiculous that this is being sold as a finished game. And, you know, maybe the developers plan on completing it later on. Maybe they plan on adding more to it. There's no excuse. There's too much about this game that just feels unfinished. Even as a fun... This is the thing. I get it's a small developer, right? But even as just a small little Doom ripoff that is just an arena fighter, it still feels like a half-baked concept. Now, here's the thing. I like the idea. And there are moments where it is genuinely fun to just hack your way through some skeletons, but there's too much about this game that inhibits it from being a truly fun little indie game experience. This game is a hard pass. I'm sorry. If this looks interesting to you, it looked interesting to me. I can't recommend it. I don't think you're going to enjoy it. Pass it up, save your money for something good. Voltron just came out. I'm excited to try that out. Maybe that'll be worth your money. We'll see. See you guys next time.